going live, definitely. This Hangout on Air is live. All right, good morning. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
All right, so Stacy, did you want to finish that thought now?
I will finish that thought. So the question was, did I have anything to do with the QBO, the Advanced Certification exam? And the question is, I reviewed the material, and that was pretty much it. When we were talking, there was a whole team of people, and we were all discussing, you know, we needed to update the standard, the regular QBO exam, and then we had to create the advanced certified exam for QuickBooks Online. I knew that I had some things coming up that were, and it was a really tight schedule, and my 40th birthday was coming up, and my husband and I went to Jamaica for 10 days for our 15th anniversary of my 40th birthday last fall. And so I just knew that I was not going to have the bandwidth. Also, I'm really glad that I didn't, because now there's all the hullabaloo about that exam. So I do know that Michelle and Laura and everybody that worked on that team worked so hard, but it was a really a big time crunch, and I know that they created a lot of the material. I don't think that they actually created most of the exams. So for the people that actually passed it, there's only probably maybe 10 or 15 people that have passed it that I think right now. You know, we didn't have access to any of the answers or anything like that. At least I didn't. But I was able to, I think, understand some of the context that some of the people were having a hard time with, because I know some of the questions were a little ambiguous. I think because I had reviewed the material and I knew where they were coming from when the questions, whoever wrote the questions. So I know that it's difficult, and I know the partial credit, and I'm so glad that they're fixing it. So that's my huge long answer. I just wanted to throw out some props for Michelle and Laura, who really, they had a lot to do with that exam, and they worked so ridiculously hard on it. So
you know what? I'm just glad you used the word hullabaloo. That really did it for me.
You know what? I'm glad. I'm going to be right back. I have to go get coffee. I hadn't had coffee yet this morning.
Go get me a cup too, please.
Okay, right on. I'll be back.
Oh, and speaking of representing, I also have my T-Sheets coffee mug this morning.
I've got my QuickBooks shirt, my blingy QuickBooks shirt on.
I see that.
Yeah, and I have my water bottle. But I'm going to go get my T-Sheets water bottle. I'll be back.
Oh, God.
Bless you.
Got an itch in my nose. So, yeah, you know, the goal here is to, you know, fully represent. Bring all the swag you want to our Hangout. In fact, in honor of...
I didn't know that.
What?
I said I didn't know that.
It's a new thing I just came up with this minute. So,
darn.
From now on, you know, bring your swag.
How about stress pigs?
Is it brand? It's going to have a brand on it.
Yeah, it is.
Who's
My
the brand?
husband's firm.
Who are you pigging with?
I'm pigging with Hancock Askew.
Okay, perfect. As long as there's a brand, then it's properly formed swag. Now, what I'm going to bring, in honor of one of our newest course sign-ups that we're going to now be doing, finally, I've been wanting to do this for a really long time, and then other things just kept getting in the way, and finally we kind of nailed it down, and we officially announced this week that we are doing a course on none other than Zero.
Right.
And in honor of that,
folks commence.
in honor of that, I have zero balls. I mean, zero blue ball. I mean, you know, you get it.
Yeah, we get it.
Zero.
I used to live in Pennsylvania. I get it.
We have
Look at
zero
my
blue balls.
flag. Do you remember
There you
that
go.
from back in the...
Yeah, where's mine? Because it looks just like Seth.
It's so cool.
Not the pig.
No, not the pig. No, it's you if you like quit eating for 2 years.
Now, did you guys see the Zero announcement this week that you can now do estimates in Zero?
I saw that. Yeah.
You know what's weird today, Seth, is you're talking and there's like a couple second delay with your mouth and the sound. It's weird.
You know what it is? My normal mic, for some reason, didn't compute this morning, so you're hearing me through my webcam mic. I was trying to fix that. Let me try it again. Oops.
Poor Seth, his big mic is not working.
I know.
Out of commission.
What happened to it?
I feel so impotent.
I don't know what I feel like with mine.
Is your big mic working, Sarah?
I think so. I am loving Zoom.us. I had a client who said they will never do a Hangout ever again, and I'm like, I've got to salvage this. And they love Zoom.
Zoom is it, huh?
It's so much easier, and it has a little add-on to Outlook, and I can just start a quick meeting, email the people I want. They just click and they're in.
Boom.
Yeah.
How much does it cost? How much does
It's
it
a
cost?
free version. I think I got the $9 version so that I could
$9 a month.
I can control the all the users, and what's cool about it is you can say they can share their screen with me, and they give me control of the mouse, and it's just like join.me.
All right, hang on. I'm going to actually do something here. I'm going to refresh my Hangout window, so I might disappear and reappear for a second. It's a magic act.
We'll wait for you, Seth.
All right.
Yeah, he did disappear.
I'm changing mine.
He can find his way back. There he is. So Sarah, join.me, have you had problems with that recently?
Yeah, it seems to be acting up. I don't know. I don't know why people can't get the damn thing installed.
Yeah, I have a hard time with the clients trying to get it
The clients are
installed.
like, oh, I don't know what to do, and it's like, it used to be so simple.
Yeah, I've been having trouble with it too recently.
So with Zoom, they don't have to join anything. They just click. So
Well, I think Microsoft came down with an update that did something to screw it up.
yeah,
Like
something.
Probably.
Yeah.
You know, but you know what's really cool is you can change the, like here we've got us all along the bottom, and it has that option too, but you can also do gallery. So if there's like 6 of us, you see 6 faces, and we're all just talking, where it's like bigger, and then the chat will like works on my iPad, so it doesn't on the Hangout, and the chat will like, it'll like do a thing that you've got a chat and you poke on it and it'll pop up. It's just so much nicer. So
To be honest, I only use Hangout for this. And for client meetings, I'll do it like very informal. Like if I want to get on a chat with Doug Sleater because we just want to sort of rap about technology stuff or what's going on, I'll do that. But if I'm logging in with a client, I always use my Adobe Connect. And
oh yeah,
last night
that's a good
I
one.
was at my NAN chapter meeting. I love going to those. It's like a little mini, QuickBooks Connect kind of deal. But one of the guys there, Stephen Himes, who's a CPA out here, all the people there, of course, are local to me. He said they just started using TeamViewer and they love it.
I love
It has the
TeamViewer.
video and all that too.
I love TeamViewer. I've been using TeamViewer for like 5 years, 4 years. I freaking love that app.
That's a great way to do. I don't know how expensive it is for me to pay for everything and just invite clients.
I can't remember.
Because I like to be able to print
they have pretty reasonable pricing, actually. I mean, it's reasonable considering the type of app it is. But their pricing's laid out. They have 3 tiers of plans. It starts at $750, but it's just one time. You pay $750 one time, and considering the nature of the product and what you're going to do with it, it's going to pay for itself many times over.
Oh yeah.
The next plan up is twice that at like $1,500, and obviously it just does more. And so you can do all kinds of things with it. You can record, which was a big criteria for me. If I hadn't,
this one won't record or do YouTube.
Yeah. See, if I wasn't so deeply sort of married to Adobe Connect, I probably would switch to TeamViewer. The other thing I don't love about TeamViewer is at the highest level, you're limited to only 25 users logged in with you, which for most people's purposes is more than enough. But if you wanted to do like a big webinar with it, like Adobe Connect, I can have up to 100 people, and that's a big difference to me.
Do they have a separate product for like webinars or something?
Who? TeamViewer?
Mhm.
I'm sure if you call them and say, I would love to give you more money in exchange for the ability to have more users, they'd
Right.
probably be more than happy to accommodate.
Right.
So anyway, I still can't get my mic working this morning for some reason. I probably need to reboot. Oh well.
You sound fine.
Yeah.
Okay, my audio's good?
Yeah, it's just the mouth isn't matching. That's all.
What do you mean? All right, so let's take a quick look at something because I started to say, let's look at the zero estimates because it's kind of fun. So I'm going to share my screen, and then we're going to dive into the project management applications that we're supposed to be talking about this morning. So I'm going to share because you know what they say, sharing is caring.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Sharing is caring.
Because that just made me laugh. I love it. Mm-hmm.
What?
She's entertaining herself this morning.
I have not had coffee. I have had no coffee. I'm
That's
just
not good.
totally
That's not
squirrely. I just had to go start it. Like I didn't even make it this morning.
Stacy has a case of the spontaneous giggles.
I do. I totally do.
That's what zero does to her when she's wearing her QuickBooks shirt.
Oh, I didn't even realize that's what you were doing.
Well, no, just for a second, because they announced that they do estimates now, so I just wanted to show that real
You can do it for the whole hour. I don't care. I didn't even know that's what it was.
Yeah. So if you go to accounts, this is the one thing, and when we talk about using software about friction, like where I always stop. So I always forget like where to go if I want to just create a new transaction in Xero, but it's always in accounts. So you go to accounts and you want to go to sales because that's where you're going to create a new sales related transaction.
So it's sort of like the idea of modules, like AR, AP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of, but not really. No, I'm just kidding about it. So, and of course, now that I'm taxing my bandwidth with the Hangouts and everything else, it's taking its sweet time. But that's not a Xero thing. That's a Google Hangouts thing. So, and then over here in the sales area, the new drop down, you will now see quote, which is another way of saying estimate. Doo-doo-doo. Thank you, Google. I think I'm going to close my other browser session. The less bandwidth, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Doo-doo-doo. Goodbye. Here we are. Okay, so of course this is all from here on out going to be very straightforward. I just wanted you to see it. So you enter your customer, your date, your expiry is clearly not American. Remember, they're not an American-based company. Expiry. But I'm assuming this is, you can set an expiration date on your estimate, meaning this estimate's good until such and such a date. If you don't agree to it by then, all bets are off. Until, of course, they come back and say, can we have one more week? And then you say, sure, fine. So, and then, again, the rest is straightforward. Item description, quantity, unit price, discount, account, tax rate, blah, 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 blah. So all the rest of this is very straightforward and easy to follow and understand. And that's the story. So this is a new feature. They've been, I think, working on this for quite a while. Jamie Sutherland sent out the announcement this week.
Where's the place where you convert it to an invoice?
I think you'd have to save it first, and then with the existing estimate, you will be able to convert it to an invoice. And right here, you see it says to set and reuse terms, edit your branding, theme, and invoice settings. So I'm guessing you'd have to save one. This is a sort of sample company that I created, but I'm in the process of I'm actually talking to them to find out if I can simply delete all the data or if I have to delete the company and start over, because I want to kind of start it all over for 2015 on this schoolofbookkeeping.com company. So I don't want to mess with it too much, but let's just, we can bang it out real quick. So let's say I'm putting an estimate together for Dennis Thompson. I guess I can't do, I'm so used to like some of the keyboard shortcuts, like for QuickBooks Online, like hitting the T for today's date. All right, so today's date is the 23rd. Dennis has a week to accept it.
See, doesn't it drive you crazy having to drop that down? I can't stand that.
Having to drop what down?
Like the menu. I'm really lazy when it comes to doing that kind of stuff. So.
You mean for the date?
Yeah.
Oh, I can go 1/30/15.
Yeah, I like to just be able to do T today.
And my tabs. And what I really like is Alt down arrow. Boom. That's the one I use most often because sometimes I don't want it to be today. Like the first date I want it to be today because that's the day I'm doing the estimate. But then what I would normally do is I would say Control C, over here Control V to paste it in. That kind of gets me to that same starting point. And then Alt down arrow, and then I use my down arrow key to advance a week. And that way I know, and then Enter to complete that. And now I know I've given Dennis 1 week to accept this proposal. So here I was playing with like School of Bookkeeping stuff. So Dennis has a week to decide if he wants to do the free trial here at the $28. Let's save it. And it's saving. There it goes. So draft quote saved. Dennis Thompson, total 28. Let's view the quote. Okay. And then options.
Yeah. Copy 2, maybe?
I was thinking that, but I'm just double checking all of my options here. I can add a note, which is neat. So options, copy 2. Invoice.
Okay.
Cool.
And then I can, and
Oh,
then
you
I'll
can
create a draft.
if you're not done with it. That's nice.
Well, it looks like that's the only choice initially, is you'll create a draft of the invoice, and then you'll go edit the invoice in case you want to make any changes before you publish that. So that's smart to me, because I want to, you know, always at least take that extra step to make sure that I really want to sort of send it as is.
Right. Okay. That's good.
And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So that's how the new quotes work. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Just quick recap. You go to accounts, then sales, and then under the new drop-down, you're going to choose quote, and then you'll fill out the quote, and then once you've saved the quote, you can copy that to an invoice.
So once
All
it's
right.
invoiced, does the quote go away?
What?
Once it's an invoice, say you invoice the full amount, does the quote stay in the system, or how does that work?
You know, this is the first time, literally, that I'm looking at it, because they just announced this yesterday. So I'm not completely familiar with all of the behavior, but from what I've just seen, it looks to me like it will remain there as a quote.
Okay.
I'm sure it'll be, once I've copied it to an invoice, I'm sure it'll be marked somehow that it has been copied to an invoice. But theoretically, I might want to go back to that same estimate. Let's say you and I decide to do another project next month that's based substantially on this one. I might want to reuse that same estimate and just turn it into an invoice.
Yeah, as a template or something. Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. So now we're going to go back into today's official topic, which is the project management applications. So we've looked at Asana in pretty good detail. We have looked at Smartsheet, right, which I've got here. We've talked about BillQuick, and we've got the whole course on BillQuick, which you can see for free on schoolofbookkeeping.com. So that's one of the reasons I didn't go into too much detail on that, because you can very easily see that in great depth on your own. Anybody who here has actually reviewed that course that I've done on BillQuick? Anyone? No?
No, I have Seth.
All right, so that's so that's what we've kind of covered so far. We spent a lot of time on Asana and Smartsheet, and they're great. So I want to show you some others. So here's 5 p.m. Web. Let me launch this one.
5 p.m. like as in the time 5 p.m.
Yeah, it's time to go home. 5 p.m.
Haha, that's funny.
Yeah, right.
Right? Sarah's like, bitch, please. Sorry.
5 o'clock, it gets quiet, and I start actually getting work done.
That's the second shift.
Right?
Exactly.
Sarah, I like your mug. Show me your mug.
Oh, this is my... I have to use this one sometimes. Yeah. That's my don't talk to me yet mug, really.
I love that one.
I collect coffee cups. Here's my new one.
Cool. But I like the
Potteryaholic.
This is my new one. It's a Law and Order one. It says Law and Order, like the show, because I watch way too much of that show.
Which one do you watch? Criminal Intent?
I watch any of them, whatever is on, because it's on all day, every day, on 18 different channels. I prefer the original ones with Sam Waterston. Like, those are my favorite ones, the original Law and Orders. But, you know, Stabler and Benson really are kind of my friends, so I watch a lot of SVU as well.
Mariska Hargitay.
Right. Exactly.
Okie dokie, so here's 5 p.m. web. I just quickly took a free trial, right? And you can see pretty clearly I have projects, I have my timeline, I have my reports, and I have my people. My people.
People for that.
So 5 p.m. web, it's actually been a while since I played with this. I looked at it a long time ago, and I loved it. It's a great little project management application. You've got filters up here, so I can filter for all users or just my tasks or my projects and so on and so forth. So you've got some cool filters here. If I want to create a new project, I can add a project or add a task. And I love this because a lot of times project management apps, including some of the ones that we've looked at, are you know, you can't just add a task. You have to have a project to add the task to first, and that gets annoying. That's what I call friction. You know, when I simply want to be able to, you know, get a task in there, and maybe I want to assign it to a project later, that little detail is important to me when it comes to a project management application. So I want to just add a task, right? Then next week's Hangout in advance. Right, and we can assign things to groups and projects, description, get it done. Right, we can tag things. So I love any application that gives me the ability to use tags because it's just another way to intelligently cross-reference things that are related, you know, in ways other than the sort of high-level relationships that we typically think of, like the organization, the client, the project, the group, those kinds of things. It just gives me an added layer of, an added dimension through which I can organize concepts, ideas, what have you. And of course the obvious stuff, I've got my start date, my deadline when it's due, and I can start adding team members down here. Click OK. And then once I've got a task in play, over here on the left I can select it, and over here on the right I can add details and so on. I can go to info, and this gives me the high-level info, and over here I can attach files to it.
Any email connectivity?
I am sure there is. Let's see, we have a desktop widget, an iPhone app for mobiles, Outlook add-in. So there's an Outlook add-in.
Yeah.
So the question is, do we have the ability to email tasks in? So let's look in settings, because that's usually where you would find something like that. And let's see, customize advanced access. You can import from Basecamp, CSV, MS Project, another 5.
Sometimes it's just the contact list, not actual emails.
What's that?
Sometimes it's just the contact list that'll import, not actual emails. Sometimes it's a little misleading.
From what?
From, like, Outlook and things like that, when you link up to the...
Well, if it's an Outlook add-in, I'm assuming that will allow you to click a button on a selected email and bring that in somehow as a task. That's usually what that means. So now we're looking.
And some you email in, and some will actually do it automatically. That's hard to find, real hard to find.
Yeah. All right. So I don't see anything obvious as far as like an email address that I can email to. And I've seen 2 ways that this works. Sometimes they give you a unique email address for a particular project that when you email to it, you are able to, you know, it'll add it into that project. Other times, you have one email address for all projects that when you email from whatever email address is associated with your account, it will recognize that and it'll go into your account based on the email address that you're sending from. I don't love when they do it that second way. Let's look at advanced access. So that's not it. So let's put it this way. So far, if there's a way to email your stuff in, it might be that we need a new project. So let's add a project and see if that project gets a unique email address. Because again, it's been a long time since I looked at this, so in many ways it's like I'm looking at this for the first time.
Notified by email.
Has to be notified about it, but that's not the same thing as being able to email a task into it.
Okay.
All right, so here's a project. Email link, boom. Did I have that on the task? I did. Okay, so it's right here at the top level info. So here it is. So you have to put the name of the task. If you're emailing a task, something into a task itself, you have to put the name of the task in the subject line. For the project, you have to put the name of the project in brackets in the subject line. So it's the same email address for anything that you want to email in, and then the subject that you put in that email drives how where it goes. Now, for those of you who may be wondering, okay, how do I do that in Gmail? Because a lot of times somebody forwards me an email, and in Gmail it's not that obvious, like how to change the subject, but I'll show you how to do it. So here's the email that 5 p.m. Web just sent me for the sign up. So let's say I wanted to forward this in as a project. When I go forward, notice all I get to do is change the two, and I can add a CC or BCC. If I want to change the subject, I've got to click down here, and then I have the option to edit the subject. And now I can change the subject to whatever it needs to be to get it into the right place in 5 p.m. Web. So to me, it's a little more intuitive when I get a specific email address for that particular task or project, like Trello does, like a number of them that we've looked at do. Because I don't have to sit there messing around with the subject and worrying whether or not I got the subject exactly right. So to me, that's another point of friction. I'm glad they do it, but I'd much rather have the ability to simply email into a specific email address, and where that email address drives whether it goes into this project or this task or where it goes. But I like the fact that I can email directly into a task. Normally, all you can do is email something that becomes the task. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
It's all about the hullabaloo.
Right? It is all about the hullabaloo. Always.
Absolutely. Is there a contact list or a list of people? What's people?
My people.
Your peoples.
You're talking about my people, Sarah.
That's right. Now, if there were a lot of activity with Seth David, we don't know who that is, would it show history, like all these emails that have come in, do you think?
I believe it would, but you know what? Let's see what happens. So let's go to Project X. We'll get the email link. I'm going to right-click and copy this email address, and then it looks like I have to put Project X in brackets. So I'm going to pull my emails onto another screen for a minute, compose a new one. All right, so I paste the email address in, then in the subject, I got to copy that. So that's the other thing, is I kind of have to go into the project to get the information I need to email into the project. So,
well, what if you don't even want it in a project? You just want a copy of the email under Seth David.
Well, I wonder, maybe if I don't put anything in there, it'll just come in as its own task or project.
That's what I'm hoping.
All right, so let's test that theory out. Testing. This is for Sarah. All right, so I'm going to send that in. And then let's see what happens. So let's refresh. Anything? Bueller.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. And also I was responding to an email, so I can't offer feedback.
Pay attention.
Type in here in the chat. 5 p.m. interacts with emails in both directions. Replace your domain with your own domain. For example, you can email task.yourdomain at 5 p.m. web to create a task directly. Huh.
If you go back to people, there's nothing listed.
Well, people would just be me.
Yeah, but yeah. Oh no, that's just a setup. There isn't like a list of activity that's linked to your name.
Well, what I'm hoping for. Wait, here, testing a new. No.
Oh, there's an activity
when
tab.
I simply forwarded an email to the email address they provided, that it would, go in here as a new item to be created. But I think it needs to know: am I emailing to a project or a task? So let's look at what Mariette says. She said task.yourdomain at 5pmweb.com. So my domain I created for this purpose was schoolofbookkeeping.com, right?
Yeah.
So let's try that option out. Hold on.
There's an activity tab.
Where do you see that?
Right, up. It's like your back scratched. Right? Okay, there.
There's no activity.
Okay, we'll go down to people's. Is the tab still there when you're on to people's?
Negative.
Negative.
So, all right, so let's try this. So, Mariette says go to task.school. Oh, it finds it. That's cool. And then create a task directly from 5 p.m. If you include email address of other team members, they will be added to the task team. That's cool. So, Mariette, I guess you've already jumped into the help files on this?
Yep.
You are the best. Let's do this. Notice my cool email signature, by the way. Co-founder, Dean of Beans.
Nice. Nice.
That's good.
I like that.
Oh.
All right, so that goes in. I wonder how long it takes.
Oops, somebody's echoing.
Echo.
Oh, that hurts my soul.
Who just did something different?
I think it's Dennis's fault.
Yeah, it's always my fault.
All right, so it shows up. Here it is. Testing. But it's still no activity because it's just. Oh wait, is it this one?
I'll get it.
So this is the one I just emailed in.
To the project. No, it's just hanging out below the project.
Well, you select it here on the left, right?
Yeah.
So it's not part of that project, but
It's just part of your 10,000 emails if you were really cooking.
But I wonder how. Now I want to be able to. Oh, see, I dragged it up toward the project. Now it becomes a task in that project.
Okay.
So that's pretty intuitive. That makes sense. You just click and drag it to the project. And again, what I like is that I can have freestanding tasks in addition to tasks that are associated with a specific project, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, most of these task sets, the way they work, because I've played around with them, they usually just go into your tasks. So just kind of like Asana, you have a team, and everybody sends themselves a mass task like all day long, and then you still have to drag them to your projects. But if you've created a real nice like folder structure for your projects, then it's as easy as just dragging and dropping. So it's really simple. Just with Asana, I'll probably put it in the chat. You can actually task right into a project. But what you need to do, I just don't, I think it's too complicated, so I haven't done it. But you'd have to put like the task and then like a colon and the name of the project and then your Asana email. So that just doesn't work for me. I'd rather just drag and drop.
Yeah, see, here I can actually go right into a project because the project also gets an email link. So, but the subject has to have the project name in brackets.
Right.
And you know what they do here, which is kind of clever at least, though, is you can click here where it says create email. And the only problem I have, if you're like me and you're using the Gmail client because you're using Google Apps or something, then clicking this, it's often going to look to launch Outlook rather than, because there's not an easy way to make Gmail your default email application. It depends on the website. Some will recognize it, others won't.
Well, my whole problem's the people's. Because as you start building this, I have people's that, like CPA, who is maybe the CPA for 4 or 5 different clients. I want to be able to see that association and.
Gotcha.
Or a client that has board members, but you know. So that's actually the first thing I look for, and then how can I interact with that people's list? I love that people.
I do like that they just call it people.
People.
That makes it pretty
Well,
straight.
it could be company though. See, some of these apps are centered around people, but I may be, you know, I want to see a company and then all the people underneath that. The client. Let's say client.
Yeah, when I see a layout like this, my thinking is that your companies would be based on a project.
Yeah.
You'd have a project for a company, and then you'd add your peoples to that project.
You just want to categorize your peoples. You have so many.
Can you do that?
Area. You need to categorize them.
So if the Project X is a client, how do you link up your peoples?
So you create groups. So you might have a group for each company.
Group peoples?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So the question is, where do I go to create new groups? Because I see here a drop down all groups, but how do I create a new group?
Click on Project X and see if you have to be in it at the root.
So
Now, is there a drop down button over
all
there?
Groups, and then from the projects view under all groups, I can edit groups, and so I can create a new group. So I can create Sarah's peoples.
There's people. Okay, and it's a sub of Project X, the client.
Well, right now I think I just created a group.
Yeah.
So now when I go to Project X and I edit the info, I can add it to that group. Wait, that group doesn't show up. What the?
I don't know. Well, it just may not. Well, hold on. If you
It didn't take. Hold on. Sarah's peoples. Oh, I have to click the plus sign here. There we go. And
then so okay.
now I go to Project X and I edit and go Sarah's peoples.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
So your group of peoples for each company or project.
And what would you use that for? You
Could use your employees.
I mean, you could use it any way you like. I mean, that's one of the things I like about, you know, a feature like this is it gives you the flexibility to do what you want. Rather than forcing you into using it for companies, that's one way to do it. You know, or I might be inclined to create a project for company X, right? And then add the people that I need on that project to that project. So I might have 5 different projects for the same company, but so I would just kind of name them accordingly. So I'd be company X project Y, company X project Z, and so on. I mean, again, you sometimes you have to get a little creative with these things because some of them give you the flexibility by making it very generic to do what you want. And like I said earlier, you know, there's tags. So that's another way, perhaps. You might create a tag to represent a company. So, you know, lots of different, I hate this expression, so I'm not going to use it. Never mind, I'm not going to say it. But there's lots of different ways to do, to do this. So there's that many ways to skin a cat expression, which I hate, but sometimes it does describe well what we're trying to say here. But you know I'm an animal lover, so anything like that I hate.
be careful on social media. You get the haters going.
Yeah. No, so for the record, if anybody ever skins a cat, I will kill you.
Great. Now you'll be charged with terroristic threats.
That's okay. I think most people, I'd probably get a lot of support on that one. Morrissey, actually, everybody knows who Morrissey is from
Yes.
the Smiths.
Yep.
He was shown in a picture recently wearing a shirt saying something like, "If you abuse animals, I will kill you." And I love that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to a different application. Now that you've got that one to noodle on a little bit, let's look at Podio. Podio is a Citrix product, and I believe it is largely free, kind of like Asana, and then of course there's paid options if you want to go further. And Podio's interface reminds me a lot of Zoho projects. Last time I looked. Let's see if it's still the case. I think I have a login for this. It looks like from what I see on LastPass that I do. So you can see I've spent a lot of time playing around with a lot of these. Oh, and that reminds me, what did Billy Ann, I saw Billy Ann said something about me in the Google Hangout. Oh, how I'll jump right into an unfamiliar program right on air and show what the first. I love doing that. I think it's fun, and I think it's interesting for the software developer to see what it's like from the perspective of somebody who's never used it before. I'm gonna guess I used my Nerd Enterprises email on this one. Show did. Nope.
Stacy emailed me. She said, "What'd you do to your lighter? You look fab."
What?
Who's not muted there, Sarah? Sarah.
All right, so here's Podio. It looks like they're trying to get me to upgrade. Let's go to a workspace. Project management. Look, you can create a status via email. That's neat. So here's all projects. This is an item. Click to find out more. Project name, details. So this is, similar to Zoho projects, this is going to be a robust application. This is going to be one that does a lot, which means there's going to be a learning curve. It's like with great power comes great responsibility, something like that. When the program is very powerful and it does a lot, it means you're going to need to plan on spending some time, working with it. So if I go to new project, which I love that it's that straightforward to create a new project, I can start naming it and filling in all the details. So I'm in the project management workspace, but notice there's other kinds of workspace. I can do an employee network, right? I have a feeling Sarah's going to like that one, so I can create a space that's just for my employees. All right, who's playing that music?
Wasn't me.
It was not me. You would have heard Rush if it had been me.
Okay, well,
I don't know how to say his name.
Music during a software demo, right? But if I hear music again, I'm going to start singing, and I promise you don't want that.
Oh, that's not good.
So I was saying you can create an employee network. So I was saying that I think that might be something Sarah's going to like. And look, I can attach links, hyperlinks to different places. This is kind of neat. I can share a question, and it looks like I can, invite people to like a poll, right? Possible answers. Enter a possible answer. And then I can share a file. So again, this is for the employee network. Kind of cool, actually. And then open workspaces, because there's a demo workspace. So again, workspaces, I would imagine you'd have a workspace, and within that you'd have projects to work on. Right, and look at this. I have activities, I have leads and clients, so we have some CRM capability here in Podio. Projects, let's see what inspiration is. That's always interesting to me. Ah, that's kind of interesting. So I guess it's inspiration for, to help you get ideas. That's kind of cool. And then, so this is a demo one, obviously, and then you can add inspiration. So especially if you're like a designer of some kind, then you can add inspiration and, to give you and your team ideas about what you might want to do on the project. And then, of course, we've got meetings. And the question always is, okay, what calendars does this sync with, right? Let's go to settings. Add to calendar. Integration. So that's cool. We've got an Evernote integration, FreshBooks, Zendesk, RSS, right?
Evernote.
Yep, I love that.
But does it love you back?
Evernote does not love me back. And it looks like we got a little expense tracking going on here too in the workspace. So, you know, again, I've got kind of a sample project here, so you'll see some examples. So I have materials, books, and education. So that's kind of cool. Now, if this could be exported and, you know, dumped into QuickBooks or Xero or something, that would be cool. And it's a little Expensify-ish, right? You can report it, you can approve it, reject it, and show it as paid. So, all right, I think that is enough. We had to kick out our friend Wojciech.
Might have been his first hangout.
Yeah, I kept muting him, but he kept turning it off.
Yeah, and then he was playing around with graphics, and he was in and out before, so he had to go.
Yeah, he's just playing.
I want to ask Stacy a question.
Hopefully I have the answer.
I think you do. On your Hangout, Dawn had mentioned an app for keeping track of mileage.
Oh, shoot. I do not know, but I can find that out.
Well, and while you're on the topic, Expensify does an excellent job of that. With Expensify,
It's real easy. All you do is click a button when you get in the car and click a button when you end.
Expensify has that. It has that option. It does it based on, you can do it either based on GPS, exactly like you just described, or you can enter your starting and ending odometer reading, or you can just manually key it in. You have all those choices with Expensify.
Another one that works too is, I think, expenditure. That's at apps.com. I don't know that it has like a stop and start when you get in your car, but you can put in the starting address and the ending address, and it'll calculate and track your mileage for you. I'm going to text Dawn and find out what the app was, so hopefully she'll reply to me within the next 12 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm fairly certain Expensify gives you that option too, with the starting and ending address. But it definitely has the GPS. I've reviewed it in my course that I'm developing for them.
But you know what, Gina? There's a bunch. I don't know what kind of phone you have, but I mean, there's usually a bunch of different apps that work if you just want to track mileage.
Yeah, I just want I want something simple for my clients that, you know, they don't have to go to the internet to find the address or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Click and be done with it. It's so hard to get them to get that information. I want to make it super, super easy.
Yeah, but yeah, I know. I understand.
So watch this. And actually, I think the mileage may only be, no, actually, I can do it from here. New expense. Well, from the app,
Yeah.
I can create a receipt from the map, but from the mobile app, hold on a second, I'll show you.
The mobile app's
has
different.
the GPS option, which obviously you don't have on the desktop.
Yeah.
So hold on, I'll demonstrate the mobile app for you.
How?
You're going to see with another cool app that lets me project my phone onto my screen.
Ooh, how do you do that?
You can do that with the new, oh, you're not on a Mac. You can do that with the new OS, the new Mac OSs.
Really?
There's a lot of apps that let you do it for iPhones, but for an Android, you need usually rooting. So Eric spent like 2 hours with me one day trying to find something. We finally found this program called Mirror App.
Mirror
App.
What is it on iOS? Because sometimes my mom can't do something on her iPad, and I can't see what she's
You know what, Sarah? I'll email you, but it should be, if you've got the latest OS for your Mac and the latest OS for your mobile devices, your tablet and your iPhone, you should be able
to find it.
Yeah, just to plug it in. It basically on your Mac, like on the computer, it thinks that is, I think, like a camera.
Oh.
So I can't remember exactly how to do it, but I'll send you an email.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, so check this out. You can all see my mobile phone screen now.
Bouncing blue balls.
Nice. Very cute.
Seems like a theme or something happening there.
So you see track distance,
Got it.
distance odometer GPS. So I just choose GPS, and I hit start. It's going to track my location, and then I just drive and I hit stop when I get to my destination, and it tracks it for me based on my GPS. It's that simple with Expensify. And then, of course, the beauty of Expensify and doing it with that is that can be synced to QBO or QB Desktop, very easily. And that's my story.
And you're going to stick to it, and you're sticking to it.
I am going to stick to my story on all the hullabaloo.
Exactly.
And the hubba bubba.
I love that. That used to be my favorite gum.
You could blow really big bubbles with it.
You totally could. Unlike the bubble tape, which you could not, didn't last very long.
And so, and you know what?
What?
I have a question, actually. When was the last time, like at what age, generally speaking, would you feel it's appropriate for one to stop blowing bubbles? And for that matter, would you find it a little surprising if you saw an adult blowing bubbles with bubble gum?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. I just did it I was doing it on a plane the other day. Last week.
I don't have a beard, so I don't care.
Right?
All right, can I stand corrected? Because I was making fun of somebody with my wife the other day because they were chewing gum. They were kind of smacking their gum. And
well, that's different. That's rude.
But blowing bubble. Oh, and mind you, it was in the workplace, and this is somebody who is in a customer service position, who was blowing bubbles while talking on the phone.
Nah, okay. There's a limit.
There is.
We're running short on time, so I have to get down to brass tacks here. I want to show you Central Desktop because Central Desktop actually has been, the last time I looked at it, it was kind of one of my favorites. It was very cost prohibitive, though, last time I looked at it, which is why I never ended up really using it or spending a lot of time with it. You can try it for free.
Of course.
And that's what we're going to do. Schoolofbookkeeping.com. Look at that. It even knows my email address and all that good stuff. Pacific, U.S. and Canada. California, where else would I be?
How do you wade through all the spam that you get from signing up from all these guys?
Use a Hotmail account.
Yeah.
That's a great answer, Stacy.
AOL.
That's what I do. I use my old Hotmail account.
Actually,
AOL.
Google Apps has a really good spam filter, for one.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Block. Block works.
For another, I have a reverse email checking process each morning where I select all the unread emails, I unselect only the ones I know I want to keep, and I delete whatever's left. And that saves me a ton of time.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I just use Hotmail to sign up for anything that is like this, and then if I want to keep it or use it, I'll use my real email address and sign up for it. I never check my Hotmail, so I really have zero. I almost just swore. I don't care. I almost just dropped an F-bomb, and I apologize, but I do not. I never check my Hotmail account ever, so there's so much like spam in there. It's not even funny.
that's exactly what Joanne said, and that is what I do, but I forget, and now all of a sudden I'm getting too spammed in my Gmail account.
Right, it has to
never
be when
get
you
spam.
don't link up to your notifications or something.
Yeah, I've been using Gmail. I never get spam. I might get 2 or 3 show up in my spam folder like a week. I hardly ever get anything.
I also have, what I did with my Google Apps account was I created a group called Accounting at nerdenterprises.com. So that's set up as a group, but it works like an email address. So I use that email so that a lot of these services end up emailing that group. And then that group has another layer of built-in spam filtering where I'll get a notification if it thinks it's found some spam, and I can go in there and either approve it and say always let it through from this sender, or deny it and say block everything else, going forward from this sender always.
Yeah, I've tried setting up rules too, mostly for like the ABO group, Seth, because now there's so much coming in, it's hard to keep up.
Well,
I had to turn it all off.
For any groups on Facebook, I just choose the setting that I only get notified if it's coming from somebody that I'm friends with. So if I'm friends with you on Facebook and you comment or post, I'll get notified. And I think I've even moved it further now to only notifying me about comments on threads that I'm following, which means I've either initiated it or I've commented on it.
Yeah, I only get emails if I get tagged, and that's it. That's it. Because I usually want to untag myself, especially if it's an unapproved picture that I have not expressly given my permission to post.
Cool. So here's Central Desktop, and it's a different layout than I remember, actually. So it looks like we can, similar to what we saw in Podio, it looks like I can set up multiple workspaces. I don't know if you were paying attention, but in the setup I had to create my initial workspace, which I did, and I called it just Master. The next one I'll create will be called Servant. Get it? Master and Servant? Never mind. All right, so I guess this is my dashboard. No, this is my dashboard. And so as with many of these, I can, put status updates in there. I guess it gives you a little overview of the next few days and what's going on, right? So I go to Workspaces. Now, how do I create a new workspace? Come on, please tell me it's easy. Create. Oh, my God, look at that. I love that. Create. Every app needs a create option. So Event Task Workspace Report. So now we know how to do that. Now that we're in a workspace, I guess we go here and create a task in that workspace. My tasks, assigned to others. I am copied on. Tasks by workspace.
What's the name of your workspace?
I called it Master. Just
okay, so stop for a second. I'm looking all over the screen. I don't see the word Master. How do I know where I am?
Well, we're creating a new task. We haven't established what workspace it's going into yet, I don't think.
Okay.
So, but if I go to More Options, now here it is.
Okay.
And notice, if I leave it blank, it just says, no workspace, it's just a personal task. I like that it makes it nice and straightforward as far as distinguishing just my own little follow-up things versus something that has to do with a project that's going on, right? So we're going to create a new task. We're going to call this task is going to be Give Stacy a Hug.
Aww.
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 That's sweet.
Thanks, Seth.
Okay, and so that's going to be a personal task.
Okay.
Budgeted time, it's going to take 6 hours to do.
Can you leave that blank? I'm sure you can leave that blank.
What?
6 hour hug?
That would be a great
Close,
help.
Seth.
Right? Very high priority.
I have to untag that hug.
Yeah, we're gonna have to untag it. It's not allowed to get tagged.
So again, we can create tags, which I love. Okay, go away. I can write my description of workspace. Everybody's always asking about whether you can do recurring tasks. Look at this. Yeah. Lo and behold, recurring. Daily Monday through Friday only. That's an important one because most of us don't want to have a recurring task that goes into a weekend.
No.
Not that we don't work 7 days a week, but usually my recurring tasks are going to be a weekday thing.
That's a goal. It's always been a goal.
Weekly, monthly by day of the week, monthly by date, and of course yearly. Now I love the yearly one because there are things like every year I have to pay the Secretary of State for myself and my clients a $25 filing fee.
It's only $25 there?
Yeah.
That's what it is here.
Georgia.
For the Statement of Information.
Mm-hmm.
A statement of information that most years, year in and year out, I just check off a box that says nothing has changed. Except that my bank account now has $25 less in it.
Right.
And look, I can subscribe to the task by checking off here saying notify via email, so I'll get emails. Now let's go to the next question, because we're almost out of time. How do I email into the project or the workspace? And look, Sarah, we have company set up.
Oh, that's good.
Now, I don't know if that's specifically just my company or I can set up...
Emails. Over there. Hang a left. Yep, down. Right. Okay.
So now this looks like to receive emails like Active Collab, which I've looked at with you. I get a daily kind of digest of what I need to work on. So it looks like this is for that kind of a setting. So, and I can establish where it comes from and the subjects and so on. So how do I email tasks in? So let's go back to workspaces.
Where's your peoples?
Here's my master. So let's go to settings for this workspace. People.
Oh, he's singing. How'd that happen? That's like...
Because we lost the background music when I kicked that guy out.
What is...
Look at this. You can make this workspace a project. That's cool. So let's try access and security, and then we'll look at configuration options. So access and sharing. Allow external members to access this workspace. You might need to make this yes in order to be able to email it, but maybe not. Look, you can enable an audit log, so that's probably going to be your activity log, Sarah.
Maybe. Enable files and discussions, project management, database records. See, that's what I'm losing in Smart Sheets, is if I get rid of a sheet or I'm done with a sheet, everybody's like, how do we find old conversations? I'm like, oh, well.
Looks like you're going to be able to do files, of course, and discussions.
I don't remember why I passed over this one. It may be the orange. I'm not an orange person.
But you can change the look and feel. See? I can make it blue for you, Sarah.
Oh, that just made my day. Green for money, honey.
You know what I like?
What?
I like black.
I like pink.
No, I'm done with pink.
There you go, Stacy.
Yeah, I like pink.
Project management. So I don't see clearly where to go if I want to email something in.
Two people.
Yeah, where are the peoples? There's no peoples.
There's people here.
Are there?
See, I can add members, internal or external. So I'm guessing internal is going to cost me, external won't.
You hope. Because some of them charge you coming and going, so I don't remember the price on this one.
Come on, how do I email?
I won't be able to sleep.
Is it in the create button?
General.
No, that's to create from within here. We're trying to create something from an email.
But I would think it would be a whole global company setup, not a workspace setup.
Well, it depends, because again, if they let you email directly into a workspace, then it would be at the workspace level, right? So here's the global company setup.
Emails.
That we looked at that earlier. That was where you can decide how emails go out to me to notify me about things. Workspace permissions. Okay, so this is cool. This is where you can set up what the user can do. And we're pretty much out of time here, so if I don't find this quickly, we have one more week left in Project Management Month, so we'll continue. So let's go into the workspace and see if I have something workspace specific. Settings. So this is, we kind of looked at this before. Let's go back here and see if maybe we missed it. Options. Help with workspace settings. No, I don't need help. I'll figure it out on my own. When creating new discussions or forum posts, automatically turn email notifications on. When receiving email notifications, show participants. Automatically subscribe everyone to new discussions. Enable comments. Properties, wiki, projects, other. All right, so it's definitely not under configuration options. Back to general real quick. All right, let's do what I hate to do.
Google it or go to help.
Yeah, let's go to help.
I would love to have some sort of a contact list, people's list, where emails, if they are included in that list, emails are just getting saved and automatically, no clicking, forwarding.
Yeah.
I want it all.
And I want it now.
And I want it now.
Oh, Stacy left us.
Yeah.
It's getting lonely. We have time to go. We'll pick this up next week. Meanwhile, take your free account with Central Desktop and play around with it and come back next week with your show and tell and what you found out.
After you finish all your W-2s and 1099s and year-ends and all that.
That stuff's not important. It just isn't important.
We have to play with apps. That's right. Have a lovely weekend, everybody.
You too. We'll see you on Gina's Hangout this afternoon.
Yep.
All right. Try to be there.
All right.
Bye, everyone.